All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today for our next edition of our webinar series, Refocusing on Your Business. Hi, I welcome to the webinar this afternoon. My name is Jay Nephew. I'll be your host, and with me today, I've got a couple of superstar panelists, shall we say, with me. First of all, I'd like to say hello to Kyle Calco. He's our webinar manager, and he is doing all the back end stuff, admitting you guys in. He'll help funnel the questions that come through the chat to us. A couple of housekeeping things before I introduce our other panelists. If you are with us, go ahead and mute yourself if you're not already muted. And you will want to probably turn your videos off. We don't need to see whomever is on the other end at this point in time just yet. Now, also, if you have any questions about anything at any time, find your chat box and go ahead and type it in there. We do monitor that throughout the webinar, and some really good conversation happens there that we end up pulling into our discussion from time to time. Okay, let's talk about our team today of contributors to this webinar. With me, I have Associate Product Marketing Manager, Miss Dottie San Martin. Dottie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thanks, Jay, and welcome, viewers. As Jay said, my name is Dottie San Martin, and I am an Associate Product Marketing Manager here at QubicaAMF. And I have the pleasure of working with customers and helping them bring their products to life and make money with the products that they purchased. And as one of the virtual marketing managers, we get to do that on an individual basis, which is quite exciting. And I've also been a center manager for 20 years, so I enjoy the products, and I'm very happy to be here with you today.
Great, thank you, Dottie. Joining us also as an Associate Product Manager for Scoring Technology Solutions, a young man who's got a quite rich history himself, Mr. Chad Estes. Chad, welcome.
Hi, Jay. Thanks for having me today. Like to echo Dottie's thanks for having us around today and being able to share and talk and network about some of the challenges that are coming up with getting reopened in the post-COVID world and managing some of the challenges that are out there today. I started with the company 4 years ago as a trainer and worked with many centers across the country to help manage their bowling technology as is. And as we move through the changes, we've come up with some new ways to help manage the changing environment as we go forward. And now in my current position, I'm happy to be a part of helping to build the next products that'll help people make money and manage their centers better.
That is an exciting position to be in. Now, before you came on board with us as a trainer, you were also a center manager for many years, correct?
Yes, managed the center for 10 years and still have some close ties to keep to the bowling industry and to my home center, and keeping things maintained and making sure that all of my old league bowlers and my friends are still taken care of well in our local center.
Well, that's good, Chad. You must have started when you were 12 because you look like you're 20 in your pictures. So. I also, a little background about myself, I also worked in the industry for on and off for about 30 years and managed multiple facilities, both for private enterprise and for chains. So together, we all have a very good background from management, and we can really speak to some of the challenges that not only we've encountered, but we've also seen now as being on the other side of the equation with our company. So let's talk about, the state of the industry today. Many of our centers that we've got coming up into reopen are in that reopening phase. And, taking care of that customer base is more important than ever before, in my opinion now. In many cases, I think we're noticing that the early returning customer has been slightly changed from what we thought it might be. Families are a little bit cautious still, not that they're not coming in, but they're cautiously making their way back. And the younger people are returning for social reasons, obviously, but more often than not, I think are returning, the first return customer is a customer that maybe is already familiar with our business and they're comfortable with our business. So they're the ones that are coming back quickly. Today, I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to focus on, what our goals are. Some of our goals are today. So for your operation, what you should do, what we're looking to have you do, is to score really big points with engagement, loyalty, customer satisfaction, and you can do that by some of these goals: maximizing your lane usage, ensuring that consistent customer experience for all your customer bases, allowing your business to be profitable, and then ensuring that customers know that you are providing a safe and clean environment. So if you can, hit these 4 target goals with what we show you today, I think that's going to make a really big impact on your bottom line and on your customers' experience. Today, we're going to talk about different strategies and tactics that you would consider for managing this new reality or the new normal. And why don't we jump right into our first kind of point. When I look over the goals that we just talked about here for refocusing the business, I can't help but see that some of the same goals that we talked about when we detailed time bowling a while back in the recent past show up here again. So many of the benefits of selling bowling by time, from time versus by the game, they seem to be applicable to this topic. So, how can selling bowling by time help with refocusing your business? Dottie, what have you heard out in the marketplace regarding how customers are handling, how centers are handling the customers now with the new regulations that vary from place to place?
Well, it's definitely easier to manage the flow of your customers through time bowling, as well as you can be a lot more efficient with your lane utilization using time bowling. So what I've seen out in the market is there's some centers upon reopening that are choosing to be reservation only. That can be web reservations, booking them online, or over the phone reservations. And some are even allowing customers just to walk in and open play just like they were pre-COVID-19. And some are doing a combination of all of the above. The main thing is that flexibility is the key for most of the centers so that they can manage multiple levels of their business and even parts of the day.
Great. Chad, let me ask you this. What type of features and services do you think managers and owners should be looking to use so they can tackle that tight schedule, tight turnaround, frequent turnaround kind of environment that will still ensure a consistent customer experience and keep their customers happy?
Well, Jay, it's tough to imagine, honestly, that we've moved from a normal casual walk-in summer schedule to this highly structured, limited capacity COVID summer that many centers are finding themselves in today. But here we are. And there's many ways that Conqueror can be utilized to help dig through and understand the strange sets of rules and the varying sets of rules that may be in place for guest management in local areas. First and foremost, every version of Conqueror is built with some level of booking whiteboard and basic reservation capability to help you better manage lane usage and map out the daily schedule in your center. Found under the back office reservations tab in Conqueror, this simple function allows you to take reservations, add details, and even link reservations back to a bowler database in order to track customer details, demographic data, alongside reservation information. For centers that purchase an optional advanced version of this module, there are ways to even take deposits over the phone, sell food and beverage in advance on a customer tab, and even put names, bumper status, and other customer-specific data in the system to be ready for a customer's arrival. The booking system not only helps you to manage customer flow and lane usage, but it goes a step further in removing some of the touch points that we're so sensitive about in today's market to enhance the guest experience.
That's great.
Secondly, as centers get close to reopening, now's a great time to even look and evaluate your price keys and your pricing schedules that are set in Conqueror. A quick cleanup of some of the old keys can help employees navigate the system better and faster as they come back to work. There are also specials and pricing considerations that you can take into account during this time period to help customers drive towards your off-peak times and to help manage guest flow better. If you've never considered as a center offering time bowling or unlimited bowling in your center, now is the perfect time to explore those options, as Jay and Dottie were talking about earlier. We have a wide variety of resources to help make the right decisions in regard to the different lane opening modes available. and we'll cover those a little more in depth as well as we go.
Great.
Go ahead, Jay.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You know, this time bowling that we're talking about, it's been a topic that we've really seen centers transitioning to slowly, especially the more traditional based centers, because I feel like they feel like they can't let go of game bowling. And not saying that they need to let go of it, but most new centers offer time exclusively. Any of the new centers that have been just built or opening in the past, you know, the near recent past, most of them only have it bowling available by time, and that might not work for you or your business model, but can you still capitalize on time bowling while still honoring your traditional needs if you're that customer? Well, I say sure you can. So I want to look at these handouts. Now, if you look in your chat box, you'll see, scroll all the way to the top, there are handouts that are available for you on time bowling. Well, there's two handouts, and there'll be a link for the webinar. The first is our white paper called Time is on Your Side, and its subtitle is 5 Reasons Time Bowling Can Increase Revenue and Happiness at Your Center. And this is really true. If you read this paper, it's only about 4 to 5 pages long. It's a very quick read. It'll give you some overarching ideas and concepts that will make sense to you no matter what kind of operator you are. So you can then say, where does this fit into my business model and how can I use that? And along with that is a tool, the calculating, it's a quick reference sheet, calculating the amount of time, minutes per game. And we give you this sheet so you can do it in multiple modes. Now, if you're using Concur, you can print out your statistical reports there. It'll walk you through which ones to print out and use that data directly. If you're not using Concur, you may be able to still use this sheet and you know, get the data from your system that matches the data we're asking for there. And then also a webinar that we produced on time bowling is available, and it's called Time is on Your Side, and it's on the customer portal. We're going to show you that a little bit later too. So time bowling is definitely the factors that make up the time bowling package that we talk about are really valuable to helping to maximize your use of your lanes, helping for the schedule, the flow, etc. So consider that. Let's move on to our next point though. I said this a little bit earlier. When we look at the marketplace across the country with the centers that have had the opportunity to reopen, you know, I can't help but notice that there's a lot of competitive bowlers, and they seem to be the driver for revenue in many of these centers. Where before, you know, the driver of revenue was that weekend casual play or the evening casual play. Now we're seeing that it's the elite bowlers, the junior gold ones, kids that want to practice, the tournament players or tournaments themselves coming in, filling the lanes. How about you guys listening to us on the webinar? Type in your chat there what you've seen in your area that if you've reopened, what kind of business do you think is the driver in your area? Might it be still the casual play, or is it more of the person who's more comfortable coming in and, you know, they're looking to practice, etc.? But, you know, while that's going on, Dottie, I want to ask you a couple of questions here. First of all, what are some of the ideas that we can come up with that would drive that type of revenue in? What do you think?
Well, you know, Jay, it is that we are seeing many of the competitive bowlers come in. They're loyal to us, you know. And speaking of loyal, we find that our league bowlers are in, you know, if your center has a loyalty program, definitely the league bowlers are a part of that program. So driving those people into your center is easy when you have a loyalty program in place, and especially if your loyalty program is in the frequent bowler tracker. You can pre-sell games and get the revenue right now, and then you can encourage the customers coming in repeatedly to use those games. So it's a great way to get those customers coming back in. And you know, you can also run a loyalty program promotion by offering those customers double points during a certain period of time. And it's a really good way during slower times and off-peak times that you can drive those loyalty club members to a specific time that you're trying to fill those lanes. And, you know, the competitive bowlers that are wanting to get out and get back in the swing of things and start to practice and, you know, get their scores back where they want them to be. Also, it's really nice for you to remind them that if you do have a loyalty program that is built around the frequent bowler tracker, that those competitive bowlers can actually get their statistics while they're coming out and practicing by you going in and pulling a report for them to show them all of their open play statistics while they're practicing. And that's something that sometimes we forget about, that little golden nugget that's sitting inside of Conquer. But you know, when a customer's coming out and really trying to better their game, or they're wanting to make sure that they're not leaving, you know, too many opens and they're ready to get back into competitive play, these reports are really valuable no matter what level of competitive bowler you are. So that's definitely something to remember and to offer your customer. That is a benefit. That's a service that you offer those loyal customers that you have. And
Abby, I want to jump in there because, you know, that point is so important. We on the inside, we that are running the centers, we that are at the front desk day in and day out, that are a little bit, I want to say, jaded sometimes by the high level scratch players, and we're sensitive to their needs. But there's this whole middle ground of player that isn't a casual player, that isn't at a high level scratch tournament player, but they're a competitive player and they want to get better. And we oftentimes don't remember them because we only remember the ends of the spectrum. And what you're saying and what you're showing and talking about is you're giving a product to that particular bowler who it's a huge value for. It's not a value for someone like my level. I don't care what my score is when I go to practice because I'm not there to practice for score. But that's me. That's not this middle ground player that it is. So I think if you have the FBT, if you have FBT and you're not using it that way, please take a look at that. Get, you know, a little brush up on it and figure out how. That's just money waiting for you right there.
You're right, Jay. And you know, this is really valuable for those people that are a bit intimidated by league bowling. Perhaps they feel that they're just not good enough to be a league bowler. And so when they're a member of the loyalty program and you can pull these reports and show them, you know, how they're doing, that starts to give them the confidence to know that, okay, well, maybe I'm not as bad as I thought I was. So, you know, that's a like you said, it's a service that you have available. And when a customer realizes that that's available, that's definitely something that excites them. So, you know, my words of wisdom is, if you have this feature, make sure that you let the customer realize that you have that feature.
Yes, absolutely.
Realize it, you know, to bring them into practice more often. And the other thing that you can do is, when you are wanting to get that competitive bowler back in there, I would suggest making that offer an offer that's time-based for them, maybe an hour or 2 hours session. Make that available for them. A time package is perceived as it's more perceived value. And to be quite honest, as we said earlier, it's much easier to manage a time-based offer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe oil several pair with a specific pattern for those that want a little bit more challenging shot, and offer a package for them to come out and, you know, practice on that particular shot. Maybe you advertise that the shot today is going to be, you know, X, Y, or Z, and you give them several different shots at several different times of the day for them to come out and practice on different conditions. Chad, what features should operators really look at to make it easy, consistent, and a perceived value for these customers?
Well, certainly, especially with competitive players that are they're eager to get back into centers quickly, and to just go off of what Jay and Dottie you've presented here with the frequent bowler tracker. If your center isn't utilizing a players club or tiered customer loyalty program, now is the great time to consider creating one. Everyone has a loyalty program, whether it's an airline, a hotel, a casino. It's very easy to create multiple levels that categorize your customers based on, in Conqueror, based on the number of games played, the number of dollars spent, the number of times that you visit the center, or any variety of other metrics. And as customers visit your center more often, their play is tracked, and you can offer them specific discounts or offers, basically like a gold, silver, or platinum level. Everyone loves being part of an elite club, especially your league and tournament competitive players that already feel like they have ownership in the business as is. And in times like this, where lanes are at a premium with some of the capacity restrictions in some of your local areas, You might even consider offering limited benefits to some of your higher tiered members, such as front of the line status, where your higher tiered members immediately go to the top of any waiting list
like
that you have when you check in. Frequent bowler tracker, as Dottie said, also benefits the competitive player through stat tracking as well. But we also have the ability in some of our newer versions of Conquer to optionally integrate with Lane Talk, which as an app provides another high level of statistical data to the competitive players. And if your center has best X experiences to display ads in the center and to display your pricing behind your front desk, this is a great time to create that competitive fun package that uses time or unlimited play to preach to that segment of the market that's coming in and wanting to bowl on different conditions, or wanting to just have that competitive outlet during this time when they've been sitting on the sidelines so long.
Yeah, I really like those options right there. And we oftentimes forget about the all you can bowl. What do we call that? Unlimited, but it's limited to a certain time frame. So let's just say noon to 3, all you can bowl for $10 per person. You know, you can do that with Conquer. You can charge by the person, and if they come in at 1, it's still $10, but they still get all you can bowl, right? So don't forget about those types of offers. Capacity management, this is where we're going to head next, because this seems to really be an integral part of a plan for most reopens. No matter where you are, you're going to have to talk about how you're going to do that. You know, with each state having the different rules and requirements, and every center having different like configurations and layouts and customer bases, the centers are managing this very uniquely, yet we are seeing some trends emerge. So I'm going to ask you, Dottie, what are some of the ways that you have seen capacity being managed in the centers?
Well, as you said, Jay, you know, every center has a little bit different scenario, but every other lane being shut down and put in workshop mode or off is definitely a good way, and it's very visible. So when the customer walks in and sees that those lanes are not available, it makes it very obvious that you are adhering to social distancing. And the marketing kit, the reopening marketing kit that QubicaAMF has developed has some monitor ads so that you can show the customer right away as soon as they glance down at the lanes that those lanes are not being utilized. The other thing that you can do is, you know, take a look at your at what options you have as far as parties and groups and stuff, and you might want to consider, because there are some restrictions and you are going to be mindful of social distancing, you might want to take a look at offering, I call it fun size parties, smaller parties that, you know, that customers, maybe it's just their immediate family, but, you know, a small party that's maybe 5 or 6 people versus maybe your minimum being 10 people. So, you know, consider that. And like I said, I personally like to call them fun size parties, and who knows, that may be one of those things that even after business starts to resume and get back to normal, that you decide to keep because it may be so popular. And then, of course, you know, social distancing within the center. So many centers are doing the stickers on the floor to be a constant reminder of keeping your distance. Again, you can put monitor ads up that rotate, not just that the lane is not in use, but also to remind customers to adhere to, you know, being 6 feet apart and so on and so forth. And I've even seen some centers that kind of have directions as far as entering and exiting, or having certain aisles one way, to try to make sure that, you know, that there's very little crossover of traffic. So there's a number of ways to do it, and, you know, just be creative, but definitely check the resources that are available, because there are a number of you know, stickers and signs and digital monitor ads that will assist you tremendously in getting that message out to your customers. So, you know, Chad, how should a management system aid us with some of these challenges of social distancing and so on and so forth for the customers?
Well, Dottie, first off, you make a great point about blocking off different lanes with either workshop or cleaning mode. Cleaning mode in general is a great addition. I'll talk about that shortly, but specific user specific user privileges exist in Conqueror today to prevent unauthorized users from opening lanes that are marked in a workshop or a cleaning or unavailable mode that are closed for social distancing. So there's no need for management to overwatch employees during the business day. If you set your system up properly, once the lanes are turned off, they're turned off until someone with permission turns them back on.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And additionally, we can one part of many of the recent versions of Conqueror and QubicaAMF scoring systems is cleaning mode, which is a great feature to show which lanes need a quick once-over from your porters or your cleaning staff or your sanitizing staff after a lane completes their play. In Conqueror, lane options, it's really easy to set a lane to automatically enter that cleaning mode after a lane has been closed. An icon pops up on the Conqueror terminal or on your QPad screens, and your staff easily knows at a glance which lanes need attention before you go back into play. You can even, again, go a step further and require that someone with manager authorization has to clear that those lanes have been sanitized properly before turning them back on.
That's perfect. That is really good, because when we all know what happens in a busy bowling center, we tend to skip steps just to get the customer out of our face and on the lane so they can have fun. But this will ensure that consistent customer experience. Nobody can go to the lane until it's been cleaned. I can't turn that lane on until a management or whomever has the permission turns it on, and they are the ones that are going to make sure it's clean. So it's genius, right? Like it's just a system that you put in place that's repeatable, and it has all the checks and balances that you're looking for. I love that. Thanks, Chad. You know, another expectation that I think all of the consumers today are looking for is safe interactions, both with employees and with technology, right? So I think the centers, they need to balance providing both a touchless or contactless environment with still delivering a great experience, because your customers want peace of mind, they want safety, they want comfort, oh, and they want fun, right? So Dottie, I'm gonna say, how might you consider, what might you consider doing to satisfy guests that are looking for, you know, a more safe and fun experience, a clean environment?
Sure, and you know, it's really interesting because we see some customers that are coming into the centers now and they're not wanting to wear masks, and you know, they're just ready to come out and have a good time. But one of the things that we want to do is, you know, definitely consider utilizing the MMS advertising on your monitors and let the customer know that you are taking every step possible that you can to get the other customers to do so, you know, be mindful of social distancing. And that online advertising serves as that reminder, as well as you could even use the scrolling messages that would go across the bottom of the monitors with a personal message, you know, don't forget about social distancing, or, you know, split your parties, or whatever that case may be. But, and again, there's a number of those that are available in the reopening marketing kit. So you don't even have to create these things, they're ready to go for you. And for those centers that are operating on reservations only, or centers that are fortunate to have a waiting list, use courtesy cards that have the prevalent information about a bowling party. It really does help to minimize that face-to-face interaction with guests. It allows you to capture that important information up front, such as the bowlers' names and shoe sizes, ball weights, and even the size of the ball, the finger holes. And it really allows you to, you know, capture this information ahead of time, and then you can put that information in for the customer, either down at the lanes or up at the front desk. So these courtesy cards are really a nice way to do that. Now, we do have a couple of versions of this courtesy card. If you are a member of our Best Extras blog, there's actually a courtesy card on the blog, two customized cards. One on the back of the card has all of the logos for Best X, that so you know, have the logos available so the customer can kind of see at a glance all the different things that you offer. So it's kind of a form of advertising. And then there's also a courtesy card that is Best X and the hyper bowling games that are available for the customer's experience. So definitely these courtesy cards allow you to put this information in ahead of time so the customer doesn't even have to touch the touch screens in order to get their experience started. And, you know, if you really want to, you can take it even one step further and you can welcome your guests at the door with a cue pad, and you can start collecting that information right from the get-go. You know, with social distancing and the different restrictions that we have, we want to make sure that we still keep the bowling experience very personal and very social despite these restrictions, because after all, bowling is a very social sport and we don't want to lose that aspect of it. So this is really a way to take that experience to a greater level and make it a very full service experience and get it back to being very personal and social despite the new restrictions.
I agree, Dottie. You know, I'm going to jump in here real quick because we've seen some of our member centers that have gone and done this, we call it the concierge type service, where they collect all this information either on the phone through their web or at the door. And you don't touch the super touch unless you want to change environments or something like that. All your names are there. The environment you want to start in is there. You know, the balls are delivered to you. The shoes are delivered to you. I think it's the epitome. It's the best. It's the top of customer service. I've been at facilities that do this, and I just think it is beautiful for the customer. It shows that you care about them. So to be able to do this and save steps for them, genius.
Absolutely. They feel like they're getting the royal treatment, and that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. Chad, what do you want to talk about on this? Because I know you've got something to say. I could tell.
Well, absolutely. To echo,
you probably have a lot to say.
To echo what you guys are talking about, you know, in the absence of even having the full information on the courtesy card, even just taking a moment, if someone's standing in front of you at the desk and putting the names in for the guests at
Sure.
the control counter, creates one less touch point that the guests need to go through to begin play. And it minimizes that guest interaction with the high touch surfaces such as the super touch or bowler consoles. We know in centers that we're doing the right thing as an operator. I'm sure you're doing the right thing to go through and make sure that all the surfaces are clean and sanitized between each experience, but the guests don't always see that interaction if it's not happening right in front of them. So the less they have to touch, the better. And for centers with BestX, you can also consider temporarily disabling some of the features, and it does take away in some way from the experience, but it does also reduce those touch points. So items such as environment from console or select environment at lane opening that requires the guest to choose an environment before starting their play, or removing things such as Facebook Game Connect, lane chatter, recaps, or statistics. The bowlers still get the true experience of bowling and bowling on BestX. However, going through and choosing an environment through Your Lane Your Way or adding their bowler photos to the system would be at their discretion rather than a requirement.
I like that.
Also, you know, we can't really do much about cash and money, and handing cash back and forth across the counters is another high-risk task for spreading germs in the center, and there's simply no way to sanitize it before use. So for centers that are accepting credit cards, you should check with your merchant processor on the ability for you to enable contactless payments on devices in your center. And for centers who process credit cards directly through QubicaAMF Conquer management systems, you can contact our tech support department and they'll help you in getting contactless transactions activated in your center.
Beautiful. I like the fact that, you know, we can support things like Apple Pay and Google Pay, or, you know, tap the credit card, but, you know, you may not be able to do it at the moment, but we have the ability through QubicaAMF or maybe through your provider, depending how you're set up. So that's a good to check with, because that's something we're seeing a lot of people requesting now. And of course it makes sense. Let's talk about this. We've been talking about, I want to switch to our next topic. And we talked quite a bit about, you know, reservations and booking reservations, et cetera. But what if you don't have a system? What if you don't have web reservations? QubicaAMF is assisting our customers with a feature by introducing Back to Bowling web booking support package. Now, this is quite big news when I look at it, because this package, it's a comprehensive integrated solution, right? It's for local and online reservations that will be upgradable in the future to our completely new enhanced system coming in the future. I can't tell you when, I don't know, but I know it's in the works. However, it's a super low cost to get this legacy system implemented, and it helps you to deliver your customers what they're expecting you to deliver, to adapt to today's changing model of customer service and booking. It'll allow you to do online, over the phone. It takes care of the customers today. So, Chad, why is this a good deal, and what exactly is included with this package?
You're right, Jay. It's an excellent deal. And to keep it simple, we're committed to helping centers get back to bowling smoothly, and we want to pull out anything that we have in our toolbox to make reopening simple and easy for centers. So this Back to Bowling web booking support package includes 1-year trial versions of a variety of different products that help to encompass booking in the centers. It all starts around the heart of the program, our web booking software, a customer-facing web booking site for customers to visit and make real-time reservations in your center. The backbone of that, it also includes our advanced reservations module, whose features go well beyond some of the basic booking system options we covered earlier in the webinar. And it also includes a full version of our frequent bowler tracker software,
wow,
which also allows you to go much deeper on the demographics and tracking of your player database. We previously offered web booking as a Conqueror module, but we tabled this feature late last year as we were working pretty heavily on a new product, which will still premiere later in 2020. By the end of the year, our new product will be available.
Oh, nice.
Our products in development are still in line to provide a much more comprehensive and refreshed web booking platform. And centers who take advantage of this Back to Bowling web booking support package will be first in line to take advantage of the all new and updated and modern features that we'll have available in the system later in the year.
Chad, what are the benefits of this Back to Bowling web booking support package?
A great question. First and foremost, you can define and customize your own bowling packages and offers directly in Conqueror using price keys that exist in your system today, and those changes are reflected immediately on your website. It's easy to create different booking offers and scenarios and load them in for quick access by your guests. And best of all, it's fully integrated with your existing Conqueror management system and your POS so that you can configure, manage, and monitor bookings and customer information all in one place alongside any phone or walk-in bookings you may put into the system already. With proper setup, it makes it completely impossible to overbook your center, but incredibly easy to take full advantage of the lanes that are just sitting waiting for customers to visit. Some of the unique features of having a fully integrated web booking solution include things such as 24/7 booking, which allows reservations to be completed anytime the customer is ready to make them. Your center can make money at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. whenever the customer wants to book. Additionally, during these changing times, web booking optionally allows for dynamic price management. Based on rules set by you and by the center, and similar to an airline booking, Conqueror and the booking website can automatically decrease prices in times where demand is low, based off set parameters that you set, or can even increase prices to a premium in times where demand is high. And altogether, this helps to manage traffic flow in a time where guest management is so important.
Mm-hmm.
The entire system is customized to meet the needs of the business, and you can even add custom add-ons that can be sold online as part of the booking. So you can add a pizza, a pitcher of soda, you can add shoe rental, even a game of laser tag as part of your web booking experience that can be ready and waiting for customers as soon as they walk into the center. And on top of our contactless payment from before, you can even take payments online from a 0% deposit all the way up to 100% full deposit. And that eliminates, again, one more touch point in the center and helps you to also judge the validity of reservations as they come in. Because one thing's for sure, 100% deposit is definitely a commitment that the reservation is real income that's coming into your center.
Love that.
Chad, I have to say another advantage is, you know, this web reservations, I used to say, is the best salesman I have in the center because they know how to close that deal.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, they never call in sick. So how much more could you ask?
That's worth itself alone in today's environment, right?
That's true.
You know, we do have a question, and they're asking about where can they find out more information about the package. And you know what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you where that is right now. Pardon my dragging and expanding, but I'm ready for it. I have, oh, I think I'm ready for it. I grabbed the wrong one. I apologize. Well, if you go to the Customer Resource Center, let me just put that one up here. At QubicaAMF.com, here's our Customer Resource Center. You'll scroll down and you're going to see a special offer over here on the left, that graphic with the QPad, right? Web booking package support. You click on Learn More and it'll tell you all the details of what it is after you give your information. No, I'm just joking. It does have a description on another page about each of the parts, but this is where you're going to request information on that, and you're going to get, you know, all your questions answered this way. And while I'm here, why don't I show you some of the other features that we have on our QubicaAMF support page, because we wanted to cover this at the end of the webinar anyway. So let's just talk about this resource center. All the functions for sanitizing, cleaning are here. We've written materials to talk about social distancing and your bowling operations and maintaining your equipment for reopening. Here is the center reopening marketing kit right here. Just click here, download it, open it up as a zip file. You've got two documents here with sample center messaging and leveraging the marketing kit, which walks you through each of the pieces and gives you suggested uses for them. But if you just download the kit, you're gonna be amazed that this was free. Don't reinvent the wheel, people. If you haven't reopened yet, or you're just beginning to reopen and you need signage that enforces, you know, that shows that you're clean, that shows that lanes are, we've got all that made for you. Just use what you need and as you see fit there. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I'm here, so I'm going to do it anyway. The tech support, this one is huge. We are offering free reopening tech support, but you must schedule this. So if you click on the Learn More here for the tech support, before you reopen, schedule a call with them. They're going to walk through the system with you so that you're not going to have, you're going to be able to troubleshoot any potential issues that you have, so you can ensure a smooth opening without technical difficulties. And this is where you would request that. Also, I might as well go to the last item here. Speaking of tech support, we also have webinars available. This is where you would watch the webinar for the time bowling. If you don't have the link for that, it's fine. You go to the customer portal, scroll down to webinars right over here, all webinars, and they show up. And the best part about finding the time bowling one is it's 5 reasons time can increase. So just, you see the number 5 and you'll know that's it. It's the only one with the number 5 at the beginning, right? So you'll find it that way. The last thing I want to talk about is the training classes. And this was a little bit interesting to migrate to. I know I didn't get it right the first time, but if you go to the support tab on our page and you scroll past here, you're going to, oh, I did this wrong. I apologize. Well, I had it up on my screen and I lost it. But the training classes for Conqueror, it's the last virtual training class, which is tomorrow, 6/25 at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you want to be in this class, it's your last chance. It's great for management, supervisors, and key front desk staff. It's approximately 2 hours in length, and you must register for it ahead of time. And I want to grab where that is. If somebody knows this off the top of their head, they can help me because I've lost it now. Let me just go back to the home page, and I think it'll be right there. There we go. Well, anyway, if you'll be able to find it on the home page. I'm just going to search for it because it's probably the easiest thing to do. I'm just on the wrong tab. Virtual. And there we are. Well, I will pass this off for the moment. I'm going to go back to our presentation because do we have any questions coming in? Oh, here it is. Customer Resource Center right here. Thank you, everyone. There it is. So it is right here on the support page, and it's right underneath the webinars. Virtual training class, back to basics. This is where you're going to sign up right here. As you can see, this is the last class. Thank you to Kyle for saving my butt there. I apologize. We're at the point right now in the presentation where we normally ask about questions. And who has a question? So I'd like to move back to that presentation, please. And we'll see. Kyle, do we have any questions coming in from you?
I have not seen any, no, Jay.
Okay. Dottie and Chad, no questions from you at the moment, right?
No, Jay, I will take this opportunity to say, you know, there have been many centers that have been really struggling with whether or not they want to go to time bowling or whether or not they should take web reservations or even reservations at all. And, you know, to look at this pandemic that we're living through as an opportunity to make that decision to offer time bowling and to offer reservations is really a silver lining that we can find in all this mess. And, you know, we've had some pushback from people in the past of, you know, I don't want to offer game bowl or I don't want to offer time bowling because sometimes they can't finish their game and it's a dissatisfier. Now is that opportunity to make those decisions, to change your operation and offer that, and it being tolerated, it being acceptable, because customers realize that things have to change in your business. And so this is that opportunity. And maybe this is one of the silver linings that you'll find in this horrible situation that we've all lived through. But don't be afraid to make that change because going forward, you know, the decisions that we make now can continue helping us to be successful and really set us up for many, many more years of success in the future. So I look at this kind of as the silver lining in this. So hopefully you guys will see that as well.
I agree, Dottie. You know, that is true. There's a lot of facilities that don't want to offer time because their bowlers, their customer base is so set in the game mode. But we've also seen those same exact types of centers figure out how to do it to their benefit. So they'll put the value proposition on the time pricing, making the game pricing not so attractive to many. And once a customer tries the time way and they feel like they're getting more for their money, it becomes a no-brainer for them down the road. Does that mean game bowling disappears? No, it never disappears. You're always going to have a need for game bowling if you're in a traditional type center, but maybe you just don't advertise that as your first point of sale. You know, maybe the game bowling's there and it's something I have to ask for because I'm a league player and I know about it. You know, there's a lot of ways you can do that. I think the important takeaway is how can you use all the features that time bowling offers, no matter what your business model is, to maximize your revenue and increase your customer satisfaction. And that's where that whole package comes into play. Chad, do you have any kind of final words for us that you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to echo, I don't have any questions coming across, but I do see in the chat, it was mentioned a few times, and in some private chats to me as well, that some of the features that we talked about here with frequent bowler tracking and even the booking system are underutilized. They're underutilized, that they're in your system, and some people just, some centers just never utilize what's there. It's easier to use a red book on the counter or a desktop calendar. Now is the perfect time in the slower times to take advantage of some of these training resources and some of the things that are there to sharpen your skills in some of these areas. And they will certainly help in the web world and as web reservations continue to evolve over the next bit. The web package that we discussed is an incredibly affordable piece. Feel free to reach out and we'll look at getting that online in your centers. It's a great time and it's a great way to dip into dip into the web piece and dip into booking online and getting those reservations booked ahead of time and being more flexible for your customers. Time bowling in association with online reservations is definitely the way to go if you're taking reservations during this time, especially when your lanes are just more valuable. 24 lane centers that are only able to use 12, it's nice to know when one of those openings is going to be ready so that you can sanitize and have your next group on. So thank you for the opportunity to talk on these today, and I'll always be glad to reach out if anyone has any questions.
Well, I appreciate that, Chad. Thank you for being with us. Before we close right here, I want to go to our next, talk about the resources. We've showed you some of the resources available at our resource page. Don't forget, we also have a Facebook page for QubicaAMF Worldwide and a Facebook group for Beyond the Frame. Beyond the Frame group, this will feature tomorrow. I'm going to be hosting Doug Mecklin from Star Lanes in Polaris. Star Lanes Polaris in Columbus, Ohio at 3 p.m. Eastern. Doug and I will chat about his reopening procedure. And our next webinar will be in 2 weeks' time, where we'll be diving deep into marketing resources and talking to centers that have successfully been using the resources in their center. So you won't want to miss that. We'll have that email blast going out for the sign up of that webinar next week or the early on the following week. And once again, I do want to say thank you for joining us today, because you can contact us with any kind of questions at maxtrainingadmin@QubicaAMF.com. That address is on the screen right now. If you want to reach any of us for some one-on-one questions, you can certainly send them there and we'll get in touch with you. You can also reach us through social media channels as well on the Facebook groups if need be. Dottie, Chad, any other questions before I go today? I don't see any in the chat. Kyle, we're good? Okay, I want to say thank you to all of our attendees for listening, and hopefully you're going to take this and run with it today. You're going to maximize your own facility and make your customers happy, all while using all those tools that you've got available to you, right? So don't forget that the road ahead is clear. It's ready for you to pave your own way through. Your customers are coming back, and we're here to support you no matter what. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks for our next webinar. And if you'll join me tomorrow on Beyond the Frame, I'll say hi there. On behalf of Dottie San Martin, Chad Estes, myself, Jay Nephew, and QubicaAMF, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. See you soon.